Girls Gone Camping Uncensored may contain coarse language and mature themes. Listener discretion is advised. I'm Amanda.
I'm Alana.
And this is Girls Gone Camping. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the absolutely beautiful Samuel de Champlain Provincial Park. This park is situated on both sides of the Mattawa River. It has an area of 25.5 square kilometers, and it's about 14 kilometers west of Mattawa.
It is beautiful.
Yeah. What were your first impressions when we got there?
I loved the feeling driving in. There's just something about these northern parks that just makes me feel calm. It was tree filled and it was just beautiful.
Yeah, it was an absolutely gorgeous drive-in. You were going pretty deep into the bush with this one, and even the highways you took to get there were not like highways. It was
Yeah, like they weren't like the 400 series
mhm.
highways where they're like cars and cars and cars. They were just,
Yeah.
it was a relaxing drive for most of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did register for the campsite at the park store. Rather than the front gatehouse, there was a sign that said not to go to the gatehouse and to go to the store. It was a really large store, lots of items in it. It had the basic Ontario Parks merch, and then it had some beautiful jewelry, some food, snacks, and other souvenirs.
Yeah, thankfully this was a full store kind of deal because I definitely needed to buy some clothes. I was so concerned about packing for my 5-year-old that I brought myself one pair of pants on this trip, uh, which got pretty wet the first
Because it
day.
rained.
It rained. um, so I got a lovely new pair of track pants. They're probably my favorite track pants. I wear them quite often. And my older son got a really nice t-shirt. It had like the puffy vinyl on it. It's really cool. It's a nice little store.
Yeah, definitely. They sold the wood, which was $9.50 a bag. It did seem to burn fine when it wasn't raining. Then, obviously, not so well.
Yeah, and it rained. Navigating these park roads was kind of a difficult task. The roads kind of look like trails rather than a road. So a lot of times you're turning down one way and you're like, am I supposed to go this way? Is this the way to my site? Um, that was a little confusing. Sometimes you weren't sure if you were on somebody's site or the trail road. It was nice and woodsy, but also confusing. And all the
Yeah,
sites,
definitely.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like you kind of got turned around, weren't
Well,
sure
yeah,
if you were
because
where.
it was the pull through sites, but the roads in between the sites were like
Paths.
pine coverage on them, and yeah, they
Yeah,
look like the paths.
yeah. And all the sites really looked the same, at least where we were. Um, None of them really stood out to us as better than others. I think so. There's a site down by the beach. It would be absolutely terrible. And that's the only time I'm ever probably going to say this because I'm always one to look for a beach
Right by
site.
the beach. Yeah,
Always. But this one was literally on the beach. When we walked down and you're like, oh, that would suck. And I looked over, I was like confused for a minute. I didn't know what you're talking about because I thought it was a family that brought their chairs and a tent down and set it up on the beach. I didn't even realize it was a site.
yeah.
So, and this is like a pretty busy beach. It would be way too much, I think, to be there all
Well,
the
yeah,
time.
and they had their music on, and that was all you could hear at the beach. Like it was just
Mhm.
so, and they would have to have their music loud to try to drown out some of the beach. But then people on the beach are louder because the music was drowning out
Yeah.
the beach.
Yeah, it was like, stay
That
away
would be
from
my
this site.
nightmare. Yeah.
Mhm.
I found our site was on the smaller side. It
Mhm.
was a pull through site. I think almost all of the ones near us were. It had really good tree coverage, lots of trees for hammocks and tarps. I didn't love the pull through site at nighttime. It did make me feel kind of like I was in a fishbowl with people walking around on both sides of us. I did definitely, and it's something I hadn't really thought of before, but I missed having a back to our site, like a solid
Mm-hmm.
backing.
Yeah. This this whole park, like where we were in this campground, gave me like the Robin Hood and his merry men feel, because there were trees. There were trees everywhere, but they are such tall pine trees that it's just tree trunks.
Yeah,
So
no
you
protection.
yeah, you look off in the distance and you see everybody just, and it looks like you're just sprawled out all through the woods. It was kind of cool, but also very little like privacy to
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like kind of how I found Craigleith and Emily to be like right out in the open, except for there were trees. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I can't explain it because I hated it at not Emily. I said Emily.
At
Craigleith.
Craigleith? Yeah.
I hated it at Craigleith, but I didn't mind it at Samuel de Champlain.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
It gave you the
a
illusion of
different.
trees.
Yeah, for sure it did. So the first night that we got there, we did have just enough time to set up our tents and get up a tarp before the rain came, and there was so much rain on this trip. This trip, we had more rain than we've seen in any other trip this year, like
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
It brought down my gazebo. It bent the poles. It's not savable. It's in the garbage. It's done. But just the amount of rain was intense.
It just crumbled it. Like it
It
was
did.
just crumpled in the morning. The poles were crumpled. And it was like a one of the heavy duty pop up gazebos. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It had a rough time.
We personally didn't fish on this trip, but my boyfriend did camp here last year and they caught pike, catfish, and walleye. They actually really enjoyed the fishing at this park.
I bet it would be a really good place to go.
Yeah. So Amanda had her little guy with us on this trip, so she wasn't able to do the hike on Saturday.
Oh,
I
darn.
agreed to take the two kids onto the keg trail, even though it said it was difficult. I don't do difficult trails. I try to stop at moderate. I prefer to stay on easy unless there's something spectacular to be seen. Um, Something that I hadn't seen before at the trailhead was a shoe cleaner. You were just asked to use it before and after the hike to keep anything from previous trails from making its way into these woods and then stop you from taking anything out of these woods into another wood. After this cute little pit stop, we started the trail, and then I hated nearly every single minute of the rest of the hike. I am a slow look at beautiful scenery type of hiker, and these kids were racing up these steep climbs, and it was a struggle to keep up with them. It was horrible. Amanda's son looked down and said, "What's taking you so long?" from the top of the climb, and I hadn't even started it because I was still taking pictures at the bottom. Like I was over it almost 10 seconds after we started. I got massive like black fly bites, so many mosquito bites. Like it was shit. It was beautiful, but it was the worst hike that I've ever done anywhere.
Your black fly bites were intense. I've never seen welts like that
Oh my
ever.
god, it was horrendous. And I still had the poison ivy that I got from Ferris on this trip. So like I was miserable. I just sat down, I ate an edible and I was just like nobody talk to me or I'm going to go for another 5-hour nap.
Yeah, you didn't look so happy when you got back. The kids looked like they had a great time.
Yeah, my
So,
daughter wanted to go back through and race so that she could time herself to see how fast she could do it. Like they loved it. I
yeah,
don't know why. It
I
was
don't know
not
whose kids
relaxed. I
they
like a
are.
leisurely stroll through the woods. This was not. It was difficult. Good.
Well,
Finally, the Ontario Parks put something useful. They put that it was difficult, and it was.
well, you took one for the team, okay?
Yeah.
You did good. The beach there was pretty small, like we said before, like having that campsite right on it. But there was like a cute little swing set and teeter totters there. It was a nice sandy area. You could go play in the sand. And the water itself like had a nice sandy beach bottom. So it was all right. I thought it was a
Yeah.
nice little space to swim in.
Well, and we got to watch the brother whip his sister off the teeter totter, which
Yeah.
shouldn't be funny, but it was funny because it wasn't our kids.
Yeah. It was entertaining for sure. They got in so much trouble.
We didn't encounter much signage throughout this park, but they did make up for it with the visitor center. It's just this, it's like a mini museum. They had some taxidermied animals that you can find within the park, furs from a ton of different animals.
Mhm.
So you could pet them all, feel what different furs would feel like, because obviously you're never going when you're going to have a chance to touch a bear. Hopefully never.
Yeah.
And then my daughter's favorite part was the Voyager packs. So you could lift them up, and they used to carry them on their forehead. So the one box went behind, and then they put the other box on top of it. So they were carrying like 80 pounds by their forehead,
That's
climbing up
crazy.
that trail probably that I couldn't do. Um, so, anyways, we figured out quickly that we could not be Voyagers.
I didn't get to see that, but I wish I did. I would have been right there with those things on my forehead for sure. Like for sure. Um my unfortunately my son was he seemed under the weather. I'm not sure if he was actually under the weather or just didn't like the fact that all these animals were staring back at him. He's only 5, so he doesn't really understand it. So he
Yeah, I
went
was a little
white.
scared.
Yeah, he went white. He was like, "I don't feel good." And so he left, and then when we got back to the site, he puked. So I don't know what was up with this
He
kid.
did eat his ice cream really fast.
Yeah, he did. So it might have been that. Um, but the information that you get about the history of this area throughout this park is amazing. Like through the museum and in their like little park newspaper, it was full of history and educational information about plants and animals and trade routes, and it was very cool. I loved sitting there and reading through it all. I liked that it was all information that was easily accessible to everybody. Like I thought that was very nice.
Yeah, definitely. I love a good park paper, and like it's such a small thing, but I
Mhm.
love sitting down and reading about the park when we arrive. Like it's one of my favorite things to do because the Ontario Parks websites seem like they haven't been updated in ages. Like some stuff is just flat out wrong when you get to the park. The
Mhm.
maps aren't always to scale, but I find that the papers that they do at the parks are usually always just like that little bit more up to date. And this was
Yeah.
actually one of like the better papers that we've had at the park before.
Yeah, for sure. It had I have it here somewhere if I can find it. No. Anyways, it was just cute. It had so many articles. I read it while I had my coffee the next day. Like it was nice. I loved having that. So that night we did try some campfire pizza. We made it on these flatbreads and it was really easy and kind of fun to make. Like the kids got to make all their own pizzas and then put them up on the grill. And yeah, I thought that was delicious.
Yeah,
We
it
I
was
think
like a quick favorite of mine now, I think.
yeah, we even did it the last camp trip we just did. So it was like almost nothing to bring for it because like you have your flatbreads and then you have canned pasta sauce. So aside from like cheese and pepperoni.
Which take up no space in the cooler, which is
Mhm.
lovely.
Yeah. And then later that night, once we went to bed, it was really easy to hear everybody on their own sites because we were so close and there was nothing between us besides like tree
Trunks.
trunks. And it's not like they were being loud. They were just having like a normal volume conversation, but you could hear them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, once we weren't talking to, like amongst ourselves anymore, you could definitely pick up a lot more, like laying in the tent. Um, and honestly, like this park was fairly empty due to the weather because when we
Mhm.
booked it, everything was booked. Um, but when we got there, there were tons of empty sites. So like it's a possibility that it could be a bit loud if it is full of people.
Mhm. Yeah.
I know last year when Chris came, he said that the raccoons were everywhere, but we only saw chipmunks on this trip.
Yeah.
So, and like he came right into our hand for some nuts. Like it was adorable for everyone except me because I don't like that.
It was adorable for a time, and then he became a nuisance. He started getting into everything and expecting more. And
Yeah.
we were like, get out of that bin. That's not for you. It was too much. Had to like chase him off. Like, get out of here.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I didn't mind, but like I said, know when it's time to go.
Use your
As
common
for
sense.
use your common sense, damn chipmunk. As for the bathrooms, I didn't see any outhouses, so I can't comment on those. I don't actually know if there are any anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. We didn't when we drove, we didn't drive by any. And
Hmm.
when we went for the hike, we were close to the trailhead, so we didn't pass any then either.
Yeah. Well, maybe they don't have any. Maybe they've converted to. Anyways, we were really close to a comfort station, like very close. It was raining again, a lot. So the floors were very, very muggy and wet, which I blame nobody for. It would have been impossible to make them
Yeah,
not like that.
definitely.
And the showers were fine. They were absolutely freezing cold, but they were fine. They did have signs saying that the water temperature fluctuates a lot here. I didn't experience fluctuation. I got pure cold. So uh, maybe if you're lucky, you'll get a little bit of fluctuation, but I didn't.
Yeah, when the workers were there first thing the next morning, the park staff coming in and cleaning the bathroom. So they were trying to keep on top of it. It was just mucky.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
comes with the rain that Amanda
Yeah.
brings.
It does.
Just another cool thing to mention about this park, it's home to the Canadian Ecological.
Ecology.
What the fuck?
I
Ecologically? That's what I wanted to say.
I
Ecologically.
I
There's
did that last time I tried to say that word. I was like, I don't know why I stuttered on that.
It's home to the Canadian Ecology Centre. It provides educational programs on local culture, history, biology, science, forestry management, and mining. And all the programs are offered to the public.
That's really cool. I wish I would have known that and went and checked that out to see if they had anything while we were there.
Yeah, I didn't
Um,
see any posters or anything about it. Usually, they
no.
had the thing about the wedding,
Yeah, the
but
fungus and whoever
yeah, so
lichen.
that could have been there, I guess.
I don't know. While it is primarily an educational and research center site, it is also equipped with high speed internet access and can be rented out as a wedding venue, conference, or meeting center. So maybe that is where whatever they were, it wasn't a real wedding. It
No, it
was
was
some,
like Professor Fungus and
yeah,
shit, I can't remember.
I
We
can't
have a picture
remember.
of it somewhere.
Yeah, but it would be an absolutely gorgeous place to have a wedding. Could you imagine? Ugh,
Oh yeah, you'd get some nice landscape pictures and like
yeah.
in the fall, all the fall colors.
Mm-hmm. That
Beautiful.
would be so pretty. Forget the KOA. We should have got married at Samuel.
I actually think that is my favorite thing about the park, just how beautiful it is.
Yeah.
It does seem to have something for everyone. So like there's a ton of different trails, there's and like all different difficulties as well. Like there was easy trails right up to the shit freaking keg trail that was difficult. It had the beach, it had rapids, you could take your tubes down. It had a play area, the fishing, like it was all just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And I loved that they had that little visitor center just because it gives you something extra, like that not all parks have. Like we went because it was raining and there was nothing else to do. We could sit in the rain and be miserable, but instead
Yeah.
we went and we got to check out this cool little place. Um, and next time I will be signing up for the Voyager Adventure Tour. It's
Yes,
a
definitely.
holy crap. It is a 3-hour tour down the Mattawa River in a Voyager canoe. And a Voyager canoe is a massive, massive canoe, and it fits like 10 people. So I don't think you're going to flip that thing, but who knows? And I think that they have extras like that and extras like the education, like, what do you call them? Like, not classes, but like talks and stuff
Yeah.
at the ecology center. I think that's my favorite part, that they do just have all those little extra bits that they offer.
Yeah, and I think like the canoe is $25 a
Hmm.
person to do, so like it's pretty reasonable. It's 3 hours, right? And it would
Yeah.
be beautiful.
Hmm.
So it would
I
definitely be
have the,
something fun to check out.
I can tell you, if you're watching the video version, you'll see I have the wonderful newspaper.
Hmm.
I can tell you how much the canoe is. Yeah, 25 bucks an adult and $20 for children 4 to 16, and under 3 are free.
There, so it can't be tipping over. What the frick is a 3-year-old gonna do?
Right. Tours must be booked by 4 p.m. the day before. I assume they book pretty fast because there's like only one
Yeah.
canoe, I think, and 10 people fit on it.
Yeah, we should definitely do that next time.
Absolutely. I can't wait. What's your least favorite thing?
I just really didn't love how close the sites were together. I think with the pull through sites, they're probably best if you're in like a camper or an
Mhm.
RV, right? Because that's why you need the pull through.
Mhm.
So I don't know. Like it was okay for tenting, but like on Saturday, the site next to us played music the whole day. Luckily, it was a great playlist actually, because if
Yeah.
it wasn't, we would have had to either like put our own music on or listen to it all day.
Mhm.
And then I think too, because the park was a lot quieter than the booking map showed that it was going to be, it would have been a different experience. Like I think if everyone had been in there playing music or nighttime
Yeah.
talking and walking by like the flashlights on your tent while people were walking by constantly on all sides of you, it was
Mhm.
just a lot. So I didn't really love that about the park.
Yeah, we would need to make sure we either book like a back row site so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have everybody on every side of you, or like there was a couple down along the river, not at the beach, but like down a ways. I think those would be really nice
Yeah,
too.
because I don't love holding the site against the park unless
Mhm.
all of the sites are like that.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yeah.
and like we booked this fairly last minute, so we were just lucky to get a site. But I think if we took the time to do a bit more research and waited like the appropriate 5 months before,
Mhm.
it might have been different. Like we would have got a really nice site, and then I wouldn't have even had a least favorite because everything else I loved.
Yeah. I couldn't think of something that I didn't like. I didn't like my gazebo breaking. That was kind of tragic. And like, I don't know. I didn't like that my kid threw up and shit his pants. Like, if I had to be honest, those are probably my least favorite parts.
I pooped in my pants.
I know.
Oh my god.
Those are probably like that's probably it. They're nothing bad
It's
about the
supposed to be
park.
your least favorite thing about the park.
I don't know. I don't
God
know
damn
one.
you, Samuel de Champlain. Make my kid puke and shit his pants.
I don't
Oh
know.
my god.
That's what I got. I mean, I like them more if they served soft serve ice cream.
I do love soft serve ice cream.
So maybe
Scoopable ice
that's
cream? Or you want
no,
soft
no.
serve?
I
Like,
want like soft serve, like Dairy Queen.
hmm.
If they had a Dairy Queen, this is where I gotta go. If
If
they
you could
had a
turn the
Dairy
provincial
Queen,
park into like a strip mall,
yeah, no,
that
just a
would be
Dairy Queen,
great.
just a Dairy Queen. My least favorite thing about this park is that they don't have a Dairy Queen.
God,
No,
how
I would
rude.
probably say it's got to be just the site thing too, like
Yeah.
how some of them are crappy. I don't know. What was your favorite part about the trip? The
Uh,
whole trip.
my
Oh.
favorite part of that the trip was when Amanda listed off the parts of the mushrooms for the kids, and everyone thought she said vulva.
I did.
I know, but like
It's vulva.
vulva,
Like a
not
vul.
vulva.
It's leviosa.
Not Leviosa. But all the kids' heads freaking whipped up. She said vulva. Oh, that was my favorite part. I
It's like
actually typed it
Volvo.
into our document immediately so I wouldn't forget.
Well, it's very educational, okay? These they have the new discovery books here. Again, for you video viewers, I'm going to hold it up and show you. Um and I love it. There's parts of the mushroom, there's moth bingo, parts of the fungi, cap, spores, gills, rings, vulva. It's really cool. There's scat chat where you can learn what different poops look like. It's amazing. And the whole back half of it is a discovery journal. So you can use, like, you put your location and your date and your time and put like your favorite thing about wherever you are. I love it. I think it's really cool. I take it with me. It's no longer my son's.
Well, yeah, and they're available in every park, so you could
Mhm.
fill it out in every park, do the activities, and then it's something kind of cool for you to keep as like a memento with your.
Yeah. Well, and as a comparison, last year's didn't have a discovery journal at all. Like, it's crap. Although it did have this after dark with the constellations.
Yeah, that was cool.
I should get a job making these books. I think I'd make a really cool one. That's it. I'm gunning for their jobs.
Do you hear that, Ontario Parks?
I'm coming for you. I'm gonna make the best discovery activity book activity book ever. Anyways, would you go back here?
Yes. I will go back for sure. I'd actually rate this park a 9 out of 10. And I'm not sure why, because I didn't dislike anything. Because, like I said, I don't like holding the sites against the park when
Yeah.
I know that there's different options within the park. If I knew every site was like that, I would have probably rated it a bit lower. But I just feel like there's going to be a park one day that just blows my mind. And then that'll be when I do a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But this is as close to perfect as I found so far.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go back too. I already have plans to go back, clearly. And
We could go back during lumberjack days.
yeah, like for real, I'm
Was that
going to
here?
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we just missed it. It was happening just after we left. I forget. But I'm not going to rate this one because I didn't really get to experience this park, I feel like. Because I had my son, so I was kind of sight locked, I felt like, and I kind of
Yeah,
got to
for the one day.
yeah, miss on a few things. So I decided I won't rate it until next time I go.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. Park rule time. I have some names. Do you want to hear them?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we call it Ranger Rules or Regulation Rambles or Park Rangers Rulebook?
Are they called rangers or wardens, though? What do they call themselves here?
You know what? Potato, potato. I think
You
it's
know
fine.
what? That's right. Did you hear that, Ontario Parks? You're rangers now.
Your Rangers. Regulation Rambles, then, because there's no Rangers in it. You know what? I just typed it into Chat GPT and this is what it gives me. So don't complain to me.
I love it. Regulation rambles.
Regulation Rambles.
I don't love it, but it will work for this episode.
Okay.
Proceed.
All right. So this regulation ramble. No, that's stupid. This park rule is storing wildlife attractants, Do not maintain or store potential wildlife attractants, including food or beverages, food preparation or storage equipment, cooking devices, garbage or recycling, or any other item in a manner that is likely to attract wildlife. This will land you a minimum fine of $125. I'm confused. Like, you have. Do they mean like don't you can be charged if you accidentally leave your pack of buns outside on the picnic bench overnight?
Yeah, but I think that's going to be the same as like the any of the rules where they're saying about being belligerent and stuff. Like, I think you have to be a real dick. So if they go and you've left your cooler there, your
Mhm.
stove, or like I saw a bunch of people were saying that you'll people will put like like your witch's pot. They'll
Mhm.
put like a roast and potatoes and stuff, and then they'll leave. They'll just
Mm.
leave their site for the whole day because it'll smolder with the coals or whatever. They'll go back and stoke it every so often, go to the fire. But like, that's asking an animal to come to your site because you're not there to,
Yeah, like
or like going to
bears.
bed with your cooler. I think you'd have to be like ignorant about it, like leave food all over your site kind of thing, where it puts people around you in jeopardy.
Dumb if you were just dumb and you brought
Because like, where were
your
we?
chips into your tent
Oh my god, we
or
went.
packs of Skittles, Matthew.
Oh, these kids, they
They're
don't
the
get it. I
worst.
think they need to see a bear.
I know.
But
Well, hopefully before one comes crashing through their tents.
but yes, hopefully. The- oh my god. Well, remember when we were at Killbear, we had a box of pizza or whatever it was on the table.
Yeah.
Like we were just left it out because we were nibbling on it, but we were sitting at the table. And the raccoons just like walked out like bosses and
Mhm.
jumped up on the table and took it. Like they didn't
Yeah.
care at all.
They basically had guns and we had to give them all our pizza.
Right. So I don't think we would get a fine for that because they were coming no matter what. Like they were the tamest raccoons I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I think if we had like left the pizza boxes out and also our cooler and also like thrown chips all over the ground or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, then maybe that would be a
Yeah.
fine.
Or like if you had to call them in because there was like a bear who like you couldn't leave your car or your tent or whatever because he was eating all your food and it was because you left your food out.
Yeah. Something like that.
Mm,
And then I
that
think you'd
makes
be on
sense.
the more of the maximum fine because if they're sending help for you.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense then, I guess.
Just guys, keep your sites clean, put your food away at night, put your garbage away at night, your recycling bin away.
Yeah.
If you spilt food all over your stoves and everything, put that away.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I leave my coffee out every night.
Yeah.
I guess they don't really want coffee, so I don't know.
Hmm.
Seems to be fine. Anyways, we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole there. Yeah, that is all we have. We are gonna go back. We're gonna do all the fun things, and maybe we'll do a follow-up episode next year after we do all the cool stuff here. I'll do
Yeah.
some hikes.
We do some different trails, some
Mm-hmm.
easy or moderate ones.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right. Well, we will talk to you guys soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Girls Gone Camping Uncensored. If you enjoyed this episode, please check out our website or follow us on Facebook to stay up to date with our latest adventures. If you are interested in extra video content, please join us on Patreon. We genuinely appreciate your support. Talk to you all soon.